Hey, real quick before we get back to the callers, if you guys are just driving around, you want to talk about the most shameless act of tanking in history of an owner self-sabotaging a team. Have you heard the news about the Indianapolis Colts today? It is remarkable. So here's your backdrop. The owner wants Carson Wentz gone, right? Robert Irsay. So they get rid of Wentz. They go and get Matt Ryan. Well, Matt Ryan's washed. Everybody knows this. Oh, Matt Ryan stinks. The owner says, you're not playing Matt Ryan anymore. Frank Reich can't play him anymore. Frank Reich basically came out, and Chris Ballard, the GM, came out and said it without saying it. This was Jim Irsay's call, right? He didn't want to pay his contract. You're going to play Sam Ehlinger. Well, by playing Ehlinger, you give me no chance to win.
Right.
Then they fire the offensive coordinator, Marcus Brady. Now they go to New England, firing the OC and playing a young kid who has no business playing. And what happens? They lose. Today, Frank Reich was let go, and the interim head coach of your Indianapolis Colts is none other than Jeff Saturday. You know, the guy you see on ESPN babbling on NFL Live, who hasn't coached football in like a decade.
High school.
And it was in high school.
Yeah.
Tell me you're tanking without just coming out and saying it.
I think they are telling you. They're not even trying to hide it. It's just,
that's wild.
I guess Pat McAfee was busy doing that game day thing on Saturdays.
I would have respected it more.
Peyton Manning was too busy doing the Manning cast.
So, yeah, that's happening.
Hey, what's Andrew Luck doing?
Right. It's Jeff Saturday? David, give
Bob
me a few
Sanders
tickets.
for defensive coordinator, please.
Right.
Give me a few ticket texts.
I mean, hey, maybe Kari Willis can do that and go to a seminar.
Oh, there's a lot of texts coming in on the last caller saying, is Chuck a woodpecker? Are you riding a horse now,
I
Chuck?
think his directional was on.
Yeah, someone's saying, please turn your blinker off. Either make the turn or just stop. Someone's saying that it sounds like Chuck is getting it in while he's on.
Okay, that's enough.
I'll go back to the Lions text. There's plenty of those. We won on Sunday in spite of Campbell. I'm over his rah-rah attitude. I'm ready to move on. I just don't think he is the guy. He is clearly not learning from his mistakes. Tim in Lapeer.
Yeah, but Tim, here's the thing. If the Campbell supporters are going to tell you that when he gets better players, that these decisions will now magically work. I don't know. If he's Sean Payton, if he's Andy Reid, if he is Mike McDaniel, if he's Kyle Shanahan, if he's one of these guys that is an offensive game planner, somehow, some way, maybe I could make sense of it.
Mike, if this was the first time he did something like that, I could say, all right, you know what? He rolled the dice. It didn't work. But
Right.
You've done this before. I mean, the broadcast is saying, well, you know, he's under, like, at one point he was like, what? 8 for 20 on fourth down conversions. It's like, you're hitting below 50%. Man, just kick the ball. Just, especially when you got a field goal, you're playing the Packers. Take the 3 points early in the game. Just take them.
Let's get to the people. Chris has been patient. He's up next. He's in Birmingham. What's up, Chris?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Hey.
Respectfully, I just don't think that these egregious calls are bad. I mean, I get that, you know, hey, let's be conservative, but we're a 1-6 football team. We're trying to get a win. So on that last play, you got 3 yards to win the game. I don't see why I think it's at least arguable, if you know what I mean.
I'm not mad about that. You're right. We can have a debate on it. I think I've stated my case pretty clearly over the year and a half now. This guy is addicted to doing this, and the team can't execute it. So you're right in theory. I mean, Chris, if we've got – who's your favorite quarterback in football? Because I know it ain't Jared Goff. Right. If you got Patrick Mahomes, do you think I'm taking the same tact? Probably not.
No.
So you got to understand, it's like, damn, man, why does he keep doing it? That's all.
No, and I get that. And the only other point, and I'll let you guys go,
You're
is,
fine.
you know, you're asking on how to feel about this team, and the way I'm kind of taking this season. Look, we're going to win some games we shouldn't. The record's going to end up as it is. Hopefully the Rams end up keep losing. However, in that process, we've got a ton of cap space. We've got a lot of young players, some of which are showing some promise. We should be adding some talent next year, and who knows? I mean, Mahomes got drafted, ninth? There are going to be opportunities for a quarterback. There's going to be a ton of opportunities to increase this defense.
Chris,
now,
here's the one problem. Here's the one problem. Stay with me on this. You watch college football, right?
Of course.
All right, so let's assume Bryce Young goes number 1. Who the hell do you even like?
So it's funny. I was doing a little bit of research yesterday, and there are 2 guys that really stood out for me. So I know there's a lot of people ripping on Levi in Kentucky.
Levis.
But, man, that guy doesn't have an offensive line. He fit in right with the Lions because he's not used to having open wide receivers, whereas you look at a C.J. Stroud, and he's throwing to a lot of the times a wide open
Chris,
guy.
I'll be open about it. I don't trust C.J. Stroud. I just don't.
Yeah, respectfully, that's fine. But there are options out there, and let's be honest, the guys that are chosen from 8 to 15 in the first round, a lot of people aren't sold on them too, but they become successful. There are paths to get there.
No, there are, but then I remind myself of allegedly the greatest QB class in a decade. Trevor Lawrence isn't any good. Zach Wilson's not any good. Trey Lance is dead. Justin Fields finally looks okay, and Mac Jones is whatever. Dude, that is terrifying. It's terrifying.
Yeah, especially, I thought that Wilson was really he sold a lot of people on that draft.
Look at a few years prior. Baker Mayfield, bust. Sam Darnold, bust. Josh Rosen, bust. Josh Allen worked. I get what you're saying, but if I don't get the pick of the litter, I start to get very concerned.
Right, but the thing is, Mike, if you look at those classes, you almost want the last pick because the last pick – think of all the quarterbacks you named off in Field. Field was the last one. Think of all the quarterbacks you named.
No. Mac was the last one.
He was. Okay.
Hey, not a big deal here. I'm just saying so we don't get, ticket text. No,
it wasn't. Josh Allen came later. Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there. Hey, man, I get it. But my fear with the rebuild is we desperately needed it to work with Goff. And I don't think you can really say it is. Maybe.
No, and it's do you take a chance on a rookie or do you overpay for a veteran?
Why can't we just have a Geno Smith thing happen here? God almighty.
You tried. It's Jared Goff, and it's not working.
So actually, Lamar was the last quarterback in that Josh Allen draft.
You're right.
You can have him.
So you're right. Lamar was the better
line.
quarterback.
Right. Think about it. Later on, the quarterbacks got better. So use that Rams pick and let everybody take the can't-miss guy. And if you miss on a pick that happens later, you don't feel as bad as if you took a guy with the number 1 or number 2 overall selection and the pressure's on.
Rico, all about telling you how to not feel bad. How about we just draft a star?